we're doing for construction. Okay, we're actually almost done. So, now what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to... Well, we're going to get some free infrastructure. I think anywhere that's on level 3, we're going to get to 4. Unless they have no factories, in which case, you know what, no, cancel those. Can't get to partial mobilization, we need 25 war support. We are close. I don't think it's worth doing civilian factories yet. Alright, I think what I'm going to do, as I was talking about earlier, is you kind of need to expand out your road system from the center. So I think I'm going to do that. No, you know what? Let's get the Baghdad Railway running. Something like this. I know there are focuses which will improve that more later. But that can be done more later. Turkish nationalists leave the DF. Disillusioned by the continued cooperation of the DF with the HIF, and fully convinced that the path they have chosen is destined to lead the empire into ruin, a group of Turkish nationalist deputies have announced that they would break their ties with the party and form their own faction. Whilst this comes as a significant blow to the party and may eventually lead to them abandoning the coalition if further signs point this way, the government currently still has a workable coalition. Yeah, we have a very workable coalition, actually. Expansion of the Greek merchant navy. Traditionally led by the Greek population of the Ottoman state, the shipping industry of Western Anatolia and the Aegean Islands is world-renowned, and has, despite frequent crises prompted by conflicts between the Turks and the Greeks, steadily grown during the interbellum. With a massive economic crisis gripping all around, though, and the American nation in complete collapse, various shrewd entrepreneurs have smelled a chance at success, and have started to buy up various merchant ships from all across the world, leading to a charge on this is the well-known Aristotle Ononisis, native of Izmir, who has, together with other Greek families, built up a true shipping imperium on the Aegean coast. As many of these ships sail under flags of other nations, it's questionable as to whether this will have far-reaching consequences on the Ottoman economy, but the Ottoman banks have nonetheless decided to grant extensive loans for these takeover operations. Let us hope they will employ Turks as well. Invading the Great Plains of Camels, Kaiserreich continues to show me things I never expected. Yeah. Is there any way that we can make this more successful? No. Well, if some of you joined us, then maybe, because I'd like to cut these guys off. You're not going to win a war by just pushing them back every single... There we go. We can help there, and then hopefully get behind them. Do this. Imperial Literacy Campaign. Let's go and abolish the Meclis-i-Ayan. The Meclis-i-Ayan, the Ottoman equivalent to the Senate, served little use in our political system, being primarily a way for the Padishah to place individuals favourable to his own ideas and positions which could overrule decisions of the Chamber of Deputies. This extra weight, which could only be served to grant excessive salaries to the elite, has been rendered useless, as the combination of provincial and central assemblies provide enough oversight without royal interference. And this also gets rid of the bloated bureaucracy, which will increase our political power gain. Which is good, because it's currently pathetic. Poor cold camel. Yeah, it is October. You're not wrong. Hungary is losing ground, but this is not an easy fight for Austria where they're just winning. Kind of interesting. USA is just so thin right now. Yeah, I don't think... Well, they still have Washington. As long as they hold that, they probably won't capitulate. Best one to see would be this one. Yeah, if they lose Washington, it's over. But as long as they hold on to it, they'll probably be okay. Sigismund's coup in White Ruthenia. Open street battles were reported in the streets of Minsk today as White Ruthenian security forces under the control of Prince Sigismund, or Sigismund, launched a daring coup against the reigning monarch Vladimir. For years, the Hohenzollern monarchy in the kingdom, born from the ruins of the People's Republic, has been racked with internal strife, and despite Vladimir's belated efforts to undermine Sigismund's power base within the intelligence services, his brother has now put an end to the hemophiliac's tenuous rule. Brother against brother. Is this really the only way? Where are my planes at the moment? They're in the wrong area, aren't they? Yep. But apparently Montana doesn't know what aeroplanes are. Nowhere to base them. It's the music from Legends. I mean, it sounds similar, but no, this is Parts of Iron. Came with Battle of the Bosporus. But you're right, it sounds very similar. Nationalist coup in White Ruthenia. After the Weltkrieg, the Germans formed the White Russian state in the White Rus, even though the local population could hardly be considered a single nation before. This lack of national identity didn't stop the Germans from imposing their own order on the country, and this resulted in the tensions that have now been released. Here we go. Now if I can get... Ah! No, that's fine. That's fine. They're already on low organization. If you would assist me! Assist me! Concentrated industry. That is all of the 1937 stuff done. So now I'm going to go and get radio. Radio Gaga. Radio blah blah. Fall of Washington. Minuteman militias have advanced towards and captured the symbolic capital of the United States, Washington, D.C. They stormed the Capitol building and met strong resistance, but eventually they broke through and the flag of the American Union State now flies over the U.S. Capitol. Alright, I am going to set up for the inevitable fall of the USA, and we're going to do that by positioning ourselves right here and rushing to Minneapolis. And this is also going to re-strengthen the CSA, which is not necessarily a bad thing, because their massive border is going to be with the AUS. And having these two fight each other will be a great thing for us. And if we can take more of the Midwest, I mean, we are slowly but surely pushing them. It's just slow. Federal collapse. It appears the federal government is on the last legs in the American Civil War. Already, most of its land has been swallowed up by the other American factions, and what is left is but the last remnants of its army, now demoralized and suffering from mass desertions, but holding out against all hope that some miracle might save them. Some federal leaders have already met with the enemy faction generals to negotiate the terms of an inevitable complete surrender. And there it goes. The United States has capitulated. The federal government has gone into exile. The main forces have capitulated to the AUS. So what we are going to do is make a rush for Minneapolis. And I mean rush for Minneapolis. Then we're going to push north to try and just secure this whole area if we can. Of course, these infantry units are moving quicker than I am. Can you get to Pierre? Yes. Yes, you can. Alright, alright, alright. Then off to Pierre. Maybe here? A couple of Germans came in, but nowhere near enough to stop the mighty charge of the Ottoman camels. Huzzah! Can't stop this. Do 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 do. Can't stop this. Do 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 do. Okay, I'm gonna stop before I get copyrighted. Why am I attacking? Oh, because you are actually set to attack. Yeah, don't. Just hold on to Bilbao for now. Oh man, you've lost so many guns. Damn it! It's like the one thing I cannot afford is to lose weapons. Well, we utterly failed to really push at all. Although I'm hopefully tying up enough of their forces that these guys can push instead. So low on guns. Abolition of the Meclis-i-Ayan. The Meclis-i-Ayan, or the Upper House of the Ottoman Parliament, was created in 1876 as part of the Ottoman constitution and mostly served as a way for the Sultan to influence politics, as the appointment of senators relied heavily on the support granted by the Sultan. This ensured a stable and loyal inner circle that could stop drastic reforms if the need should ever arise. The expansion of the bureaucratic apparatus at the provincial level, however, has increased expenditures exponentially, which has led many to wonder what even the need is for the upper house. Therefore, with the approval of the Mebusan earlier today, the Ottoman constitution was revised and the institution abolished. See? America! You are allowed to change your constitution from time to time. It is a thing that can happen. With this royal safeguard gone, however, there are some starting to have second thoughts about wondering if doing so was... They haven't opened up the way towards abolition of the monarchy and the proclamation of a republic. Maybe another step forwards. Alright, the Sublime Federation. Although Sabahattin was fiercely opposed to the creation of a federal model, the HIF has no choice but to base their program on one of provincial autonomy, as its main supporters, consisting of minority groups, continue to push for more rights. Therefore, the creation of a federal Ottoman system has become unavoidable. This federation, led by the Federal Assembly and with the Provincial Assembly serving as its substates, promises to improve the lives of every Ottoman. Every own state resistance goes down, we gain a bunch of recruitable population, surrender limit goes up, and we also get a plus 10 factories in state, just as a base. And then we also become known as the Sublime Ottoman Federation. I remember checking out your channel when you first picked up Heart of Iron, I think, Man the Guns. Anyway, it seems the bug bit. When I first picked up Hearts of Iron, I've had it since release. I've even played a lot of Hearts of Iron 3. We did, last time was 1992. Yeah, 28 years ago. I'm not saying, no, not every year, maybe once a decade. Like, I get it, constitutions are supposed to be irrevocable. Not irrevocable. Constitutions are supposed to be fairly difficult to change to stop, like, your orange dictator changing it and making himself a dictator for life. Sorry, did I say orange? I meant average. But also, it's not completely inviolable. Says a guy living in a country with a unwritten constitution which changes every day. Alright, so Sublime Federation is going to... Oh, it's a 70-day. This is a big one. And then after that, we could also reform the Ottoman Gendarmerie, which will cause resistance issues to reduce or give us more operative slots. It's not going to help us. No, we can renovate the Sublime Port, which will give us political power and allow us to join one of the factions. I don't think we necessarily need to do that. We're still only in 37. Or we could start working on the economy. Okay. Why am I referring to the Dutch Oranges Party? I mean, I'm a lover of orange, so the fact that such a criminal entity has taken over the orange is painful on a personal level. Wonder what the result is of the Ataturk path. We'll never know. Let's go take a look over here. We're slowly but surely losing ground. I wonder if it's time to turn our industry away from making motorized and armored cars. No. It's time to make... Oh, hang on. What we can do is get the air designer now. Yes, I like that idea. It's not going to affect you, but if we then decide to make a different type of aircraft, then we'll have the advanced CAS, which is going to be really good for us. You are sending me reinforced. No, you're not. You're pushing out. That's actually okay. And yes, this is buying us time to just capture all of this. So we were kind of actually the benefactors of the fall of the United States. These two have just got an even bigger border over which to fight now. And it regained Chicago for the CSA, which means the CSA is once again a fighting force. And they have all the industry of New England, so... yeah, things have evened up a bit. They have now got 62, 63 factories versus their 70... versus our 55, 56. So we are industrially still the smallest. But we have a lot of states behind us, which could potentially give us a lot of manpower and a lot of free units. Corruption scandal rocks the HIF. Brought to the parliamentary floor by a group of opposition members, a clear link has been established between the Undersecretary of the Grand Vizier and the unknown expenses of the Ottoman treasury. Furthermore, they have proof that the man misused his position to empower his friends and family, granting them significant properties from Defter Dalik, the Internal Revenue Office in the region of Anteb. This news has further soured the testimony of the Antebi citizens who pointed out that the properties were seized by the Ottoman state during the Armenian deportations and never returned, even though the original inhabitants safely found their way home against all odds. This unfortunate correlation has had significant repercussions for the Armenian delegates to the HIF, who out of protest have announced their immediate departure from the coalition, taking up places amongst the independents. Most unfortunate, because the independents were actually some of our biggest supporters. Hawaii has joined the Entente. Huzzah! It didn't join the Japanese this time. The Society for the Eradicating of Illiteracy. Discontent with the slow rate at which Baghdadi walis were implementing the education reforms in the corner of the Sublime State, a group of relatively young Arabs has taken part of the task on them. The Jamiat al-Sai li Mustafat al-Umayyah or the Society for the Eradicating of Illiteracy, was founded 4 years ago and has since dedicated itself to educating the poor and the illiterate of the Iraqi countryside. Basing themselves on the Russian system, their main activities consist of rallying freshly educated teachers and other graduates to set up mobile schools and spread their knowledge. Let's try that again. Yeah, good. Basing themselves on the Russian system, the main activities consist of rallying freshly educated teachers and other graduates to set up mobile schools and spread their knowledge. Tightly linked to the political group Jamiat al-Hali, it also serves as a hotbed for social democratic thought and plays lip service to the opposition newspaper Al-Hali of Kamil al-Chardini, Dirchi, Mohammed Hadid, Abd al-Fattah Ibrahim, and Abd al-Qatir Ismail. A great initiative. Popularity of social democracy goes up and base stability also goes up. Our stability is going up and up and up, which is really good. How is parliamentary support? It's now positive. We are getting positive stability from the parliament. No, wait, it's not the parliament that's the bad one. It's this one's the bad one. Stability of the realm. We're only getting a -8 now. Alright, that's really good. And we have had a bunch of people following us. TL45, De Stomp, Corley's Folly, Rax Rebellis, Pilot NGB, and Jammy. Thank you very much for the follows. Welcome to the channel. Tanks Dark coming in with a 24-month Twitch Prime resubscription. That is a 2-year resub. Thank you very much for the ongoing support there, Tanks Ducks. And congratulations on earning those orange wings. Enjoy. And yeah, thank you. How's the aeroplanes doing? We are now in a completely safe area. Are there any other air bases more nearby? No. No, there aren't. The site of the now infamous Battle of Al-Qarna during the initial phase of the Mesopotamian campaign of the Welsh Creek and the eponymous city of Al-Qurna became home to a large community of Assyrian refugees and settlers following the war. While relations between the Assyrian settlers and the local predominantly modern Arab population have never been warm, tensions escalated earlier this week as 30 Assyrian settlers were massacred in a raid in their quarter with the destruction of 50 or more homes. The Assyrian local government has already declared the action a deed of extreme barbarity and, in addition to demanding support from the Ottoman army to push the Medan further into the marshes, has called up its own local militia forces, the Assyrian levies, who have largely assumed peacekeeping and policing duties of the British-controlled regions of the Basra Vilayet. So we can send a detachment to Baghdad, or we can order the levies to stand down. So either way, Basra gets pissed, but this is really a difference between the popularity of social liberalism or political power. So do we want to get involved, or do we not? So, do we send a detachment, or order the levies stand down? Get your votes in. Vote, vote, vote. Get your votes in. Vote, 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 vote. Vote, 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 vote. Sudden detachment is evil? To support the Assyrians against being massacred? Okay, Vampire Baron contributed 2,000 channel points. Thank you very much for doing that. Order the Levy Stand Down came in with a meager 14%, 86% of you overwhelmingly saying that we should send a detachment to go and support the Assyrians. No, I think send detachments help them massacre. It might be retaliatory, or it might just be defensive. I don't know. But they started it. Okay, so we are now on our own here. If there is any push against these guys, we can assist. Oh, for a second there was nobody guarding this. That is just a militia unit. Can we push into this? The Empire celebrates Eid al-Fitr. Eid Mubarak. Turkish deputies withdraw support. Be it out of personal concerns or due to the overarching shift towards a more nationalist Turkish mindset, multiple Turkish parties have announced the end of their support for the coalition and have withdrawn their deputies. Whilst this won't immediately pose much of a risk to the continuation of the coalition, it's an unfortunate event and will take time and elbow grease to get them back into line. Yeah, it will, especially as we've been using so many of our tax reduction abilities. No! Oh, for Pete's sake, that's a 70 days. Okay, I'm just going to load that. Otherwise, just a waste of time. Because then I would have just pressed pause and then immediately got those deputies back again. If I'd known it would have cancelled something. Although we were only 10 days in. In fact, we wouldn't have lost anything. I had Mubarak. You've not started attacking anything, but that's fine. And we are massively on the outskirts of Madrid again. They withdraw their support. We are then going to go over here and say, hey, how about you don't do that? Because we need 249 and we have 272. Okay, we may have done a bit much. I love the fact that every single Conservative is supporting us right now. The Savoyard crisis has been resolved. A few days ago, a demand from the Commune of France was telegraphed to the Swiss government. Cede the province of Haute-Savoie under threat of armed coercion. The French characterised the demand with a need to end the persecution of the French population within the province. The Swiss government decided to avoid war, and agreed, stating the peaceful transfer of ownership was preferable to bloodshed. This is a victory for the French government, which has already declared the reclamation of Haute-Savoie a victory for the world's working classes. Syndicalism is spreading. Conservative deputies withdraw support. See, that one is more annoying. But do we still have more than 249? We don't. So we could get some of the Conservatives back, but honestly that seems more difficult than getting the Nationalists on side. Or the Independents. Didn't there used to be like 12 Independents in total? Let's get some of the Independents. Or, you know what, no, the Turkish nationalists are just easier. I thought. I could be wrong. 13 nationalists, there we go, that'll do it. $255. Perfect. Might be time to switch out the camels in the PSA. For what? We don't have anything which would work better out here. Yeah, if I can get Bilbao secured, that would make me very happy. And then we could move down here and assist against Madrid. Although this lack of guns is still really annoying me. Rising support for the DF. The DF has recently seen growth in popularity mainly on the Anatolian periphery against the lower educated population, usually voting for the policies of Mustafa Kemal. This came as a surprise both in the headquarters of the OHF as the DF trying to find an explanation for this phenomenon. Some observers have found a connection related to the name of the party itself. The party's logo, a galloping white horse, comes from the strong resemblance of the foreign word Demokrat of the Turkish words Demir and Kirat, the Iron Kurat. The horse Kirat was a character popular in Turkish legend. It's also the horse and trusted companion of Koroglu, a Robin Hood-style hero who championed the cause of the common man against the oppressive regime. Demokrat and Demir Kirat were often interchanged by the peasantry. Some have pointed out that the peasants began to view the Democrat Party as the supernatural hero protecting their rights from the detached aristocrats in Constantinople, just as in the folklore. That can't possibly have worked. Right? Demir, Kirat and Democrat. That's interesting. Have I set my volunteers to high reinforcement priority? No, because I don't think you can. Oh, I see. That would be setting the entire unit. No it wouldn't. No it wouldn't. No it wouldn't. I know what you mean. You mean doing this. Now I can. Good idea. Otherwise it was going to the recruitment. Yeah. Okay, speaking of recruitment, we do have a couple more camel units that need to be trained, and we can do that now. Which will also earn us some more army experience, which will be awesome. Ooh. I see an opportunity.